Hello, this is Sean Luck with www.free-academy.com. We're going to be doing problems 7 through 8 of Chapter 3, Section 5 of Anton Calculus 7th edition, or the chain rule. And what's really important about this lecture compared to the previous lectures we've been doing, in the previous lectures we've been given f of x, and we've been given g of x, and we've been asked to find what the derivative is, doing f of g of x and g of f of x and so on and so forth. In this lecture, we're not given a g of x, we're just given f of x. So now we want to find f prime of x. How do we do this? Well, take a look here. X to the third plus 2x to the 37th power. Do you want to distribute that out? I don't. And I wouldn't recommend it either by any means. That would be much too complicated, but we can use our beloved chain rule to figure this out. And what I'm going to do for problem 7 here is I'm going to rename x to the third plus 2x as g of x. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. We found that out with our product rule and our quotient rule, that you can take any part of an equation and rename it as another variable or as another function. That's legitimate. So we've done this. We've taken x to the third plus 2x and we're calling it g of x. But what benefit is that to us? Well, let's find the derivative of g of x, which is 3x squared plus 2x. And now let me rewrite our f of x here as equal to something to the 37th power. So now we have f of x. Let's find f prime of x. Using our product rule, or our power rule, we get 37 parentheses to the 37 minus 1th power, 36. We have f prime of x, we have g of x, and we have a g prime of x. And now we can take all these different values here, we can put them into our chain rule, and we will get the derivative. So f prime of x is equal to 37 parentheses 36 times g prime of x, which is 3x squared plus 2x. And we put g of x into the parentheses down there. So x to the third plus 2x. Now something that I did here that might be a little ambiguous is we started out with f of x, and then I just started calling f of x, the parentheses raised to the 37th power here. Really what I've done here is I've written this as f of g of x. So that way I could do g of x to the 37th power and use my chain rule formula here. So this f of x and this f prime of x is just a little bit different than this f of x and this f prime of x. So in order to make things a little bit clearer in problem 8 here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename f of x here as just a of x to the 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 raised to the 6th power. And the reason I'm going to do this is now we're going to call f of x equal to the parenthesis x to the 6th power, which I like writing the parentheses as just kind of the placeholder here. And then we'll rename g of x as 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. So now all we need is f prime of x and g prime of x, and then we can put everything into our chain rule formula and get an answer out. So using the power rule on f of x here, we get 6 times our parentheses raised to the 5th, and taking the derivative of g of x, we're going to get 6x plus 2. With these different values here, let's plug everything into our formula to get the derivative of a prime of x. We'll use f prime of x, which is 6 parentheses raised to the 5th power, and this is f prime of g of x, So now we plug 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 into this parenthesis. And then we're going to multiply the whole thing by g prime of x, which is 6x plus 2. And that is our derivative of f of x here. Well, just to be really clear, I renamed f of x to a of x, and then I found a prime of x, which I'll now rename back to f prime of x. And that's all of this stuff right here. And I just did those renaming tricks so we can use the f primes, the g primes here in the chain rule. But I want to, before I let you guys go, I want to point out something interesting about the chain rule before I go any further. What we did when we did the chain rule is we took the derivative of the function acting on the inside and then multiplied it by the derivative of the inside. So it's really the derivative of the outside and that was just doing the parentheses raised to the 6th power, take the derivative of the outside and then multiply it by the derivative of the inside, the 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. And in all of your chain rule problems, that's going to be what you're doing here. And we're going to keep practicing this, and it's going to become more and more clear as we do.